Our entire fucking lives are dictated by narratives. We either hop over the narratives or we stand behind them, and the vast majority of the people who are going to exist on this earth will always hide behind the narratives which rule their times, which are entirely arbitrary most of the damn time. Think about this shit, bro. When a girl says I'm in my whole era, or if a guy says I'm in my grind era, basically what the girl is doing is embodying a certain mode of being, that being a whole, you know, fucking promiscuous behavior, getting clapped by a whole bunch of niggas, going on hella dates with niggas, DMing hella niggas, getting cracked by hella niggas on Tinder, all of this hella goofy shit, drunk every single night, Tito's, Henny, just going absolutely insane, bunch of niggas, different niggas, night to night, just lying, just pure ongoing and embodying this certain mode of being because they feel comfortable living under that narrative. The fact is, about 15 to 30 years ago, bro, I wasn't there, but I heard that this sort of narrative cannot exist in. But the fact that it exists today, it means that it's socially validated enough to where people can now feel comfortable embodying that certain mode of being under the banner of that narrative. They feel safe under the narrative because they know it's socially validated in a way. It's why people say I'm in my grind era or I'm in this era. They're basically just falling into a narrative which already is socially validated on a wide scale. People don't even feel comfortable doing certain things unless it's under a narrative which is socially validated. It's why sometimes you'll be with somebody and they'll say some shit like, we can't do this unless I'm your girlfriend. Now, that's kind of an arbitrary fucking term, because regardless of whether or not you had that term, you're still going to embody that certain mode of being if you're going to embody that certain mode of being. But the fact is, they only feel comfortable doing so under the banner of that narrative. So the narrative basically allows them to essentially be free. So they're basically living behind invisible lines that they can easily just jump over, but they only feel comfortable behind the line, so people choose to stay in. That's what a lot of people call the damn matrix. So you can choose either to exist within these lines, because in all honesty, you won't really get much pushback if you do. But those who decide they want to change things, people who change things in their own time periods, are going to be the people who hopped over those lines and just entirely fucking disregarded them, many times at their own expense. But the only way to innovation or to a new place would be to disregard some of those damn lines. Now, sometimes the lines are good, but you have to be able to see outside of the lines to dictate whether or not they're good or not, and not just simply see the lines and just jump in between them and just simply just stay there because you're afraid to deviate outside of them, if you catch my drift. This is why, like, your parents say you need to be a doctor, or you need to be this, you need to be that, because that narrative, that label is socially validated on a massive scale. They know that if you're able to live under the banner of that label, one, their friends or their family members are going to look at them as being good parents, or look at them as being people who did a good job, and basically look at you as if, you know, you're safe. They seek your safety. They know that narrative, that label is safe, so they want you to be the safest as possible and to just shine and just be happy, if you catch my drift. So they feel safe with that label. They feel safe with that banner. Had they had to deviate outside of the banner, who the fuck knows what'll happen? That's when you're shrouded in uncertainty. That's when you're shrouded in chaos in a way. You don't know where the fuck you're gonna go. But that place right there outside of those labels are gonna be the places where the extremes are taking place. You're never gonna truly live an extremely bad or extremely fantastic life if you're stuck in between those labels. But you can have a really good life, or you can have a pretty bad life. The extremes exist outside of the labels, if you catch my drift. People whose lives that you tell stories about are going to be the people who exist on those extremes most likely. And those are going to be outside of those specific labels which have those high levels of social proof. And most people, if you try to deviate outside of those labels or outside of those parameters, are going to probably be on the negative side. But the possibility does exist for the few who get there to live the absolutely fantastic lives. Now, my thing is this. I just look at it logically like this. If I have one life, why would my desire be to preserve something that's going to end? Like, it's pretty much like the Usogi philosophy, basically. Life itself is already a gamble where everybody is going to lose in the end, as we already are going to fucking die. We're going to die no matter what we do. So why would the aim of my life be to preserve everything that I have on a ship that's going to go towards its demise in the end? Why would my life be based on simply just preserving what I have when I know for a fact that it's going to end? Why would it not be predicated upon getting more, helping others, and just doing as much as I could, helping as many people as possible, and living on the extremes, rather than just trying to live within these safe parameters when I'm already going to die in the end? But the fact that it does have an ending allows certain people to shine while they're here. We're essentially like some shooting fucking stars, because a shooting star is only fantastic because we rarely ever see it. We see one of them just pop up and it just stops. You know, it had this run, it was absolutely fantastic, and it reached the heavens. But if we just always saw shooting stars at every moment, they wouldn't be that great anymore. Same thing with fireworks. Same thing with anything that burns out fast. fast, but has a bright ass shine to it. Your parents want the safest and the best possible life for you in between those parameters, which allows you to be safe. That's why they say follow the college route, follow the regular job route, follow the doctor route, follow this or that route, which are absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. And they'll always warn against you taking that difficult route outside of those parameters, route that you most likely will fail on because they care about your safety. But my thing is this, they're supposed to think that way because their job, your entire life, was to protect you and keep you safe and to keep you on a path which will allow you to be safe and just live a good life. But for somebody who has their own free will, for somebody who is living with a first person perspective, for somebody who knows that at some point their end is going to come, why would the main focus of your life be to preserve it and not to do as much as you possibly could while you're in it, not to help others out, do what you truly want to do, if you catch my drift? Not saying be some fucking big ass degenerate, but I'm saying why not be the person that you truly dream of being, the person that you daydream of being? The preservation mindset will not ever allow you to truly grow in life. At best, you would just be above average. Is why you try to grab at something as hard as you possibly could to preserve it. It's ultimately just going to slip through your fingers like water. You try to grab water with both hands, the motherfucker's just going to slip straight through. I think that's symbolic for life itself, bruh. Only on the road aiming for more will you ever even keep the things that's with you in the first place, because those things are going to want to come where you're going because it's rooted in mystery, you know? It's a level of uncertainty, but it's seen positively because in order for you to get to certain places, certain stopping points, certain goals, you'll have to become special along that journey anyways. And as you become more special, more people are going to want to join you also, and things are going to start staying without you even having to try to keep them there. That's why at the bottom, everything is so hard to preserve, because the things that you're trying to preserve don't truly want to stay there. If you just let go of what you were trying to preserve while you're at the bottom, it likely would just run the fuck away. That's why you focus on the actual purpose, you focus on the journey, keep going up, keep getting better, and shit, the things that you want to preserve in the first place likely would just follow you up there anyways.